Listen carefully, because this is not something you clicked by accident. You didn't just land here randomly. You didn't just scroll and stop for no reason. There is something deeper happening right now, something you cannot see, but you can feel. And I need you to pause for a moment. Yes, you. Stop whatever you are doing, even if just for a few seconds, and breathe. Because what I'm about to say is not meant to scare you. It is meant to wake you. I have been trying to reach you. Not just today, not just through this message, but through moments, through silence, through the thoughts you couldn't explain, through the nights when you felt something was missing, through the days when everything looked fine, but inside, something felt off. I was there. I saw you when you smiled in front of others but carried weight in your heart. I heard the words you never spoke out loud. I felt every tear you tried to hide. And still, you kept going. But now, something is shifting. You feel it, don't you? That strange tension, that pull in your chest, that quiet feeling that something is about to change. You are not imagining it. This is your moment of awareness. Not fear, not confusion, awareness. Because you have reached a point in your life where you cannot stay the same anymore. You have outgrown certain people. You have outgrown certain habits. You have outgrown the version of yourself that kept settling for less than you deserve. And yet, part of you is still holding on. Why? Because it feels familiar. Because it feels safe. Because letting go feels uncertain. But listen to me. You were not created to stay comfortable. You were created to grow. And growth will always feel uncomfortable before it feels right. There are things in your life right now that no longer align with who you are becoming. And you already know what they are. You don't need another sign. You don't need another confirmation. You feel it. That hesitation before saying yes. That discomfort around certain people. That quiet voice inside you saying, this isn't right anymore. That voice is not random. That is guidance. And the more you ignore it, the louder it becomes. I am not here to rush you. I am here to prepare you. Because what is coming into your life next will require a version of you that is stronger, clearer, and more aligned than ever before. You asked for change. You asked for growth. You asked for something better. But understand this. Better does not come by staying the same. It comes by releasing what no longer serves you. And yes, I know that's hard. I know you are tired. I know you've been trying. I know you've been patient. I know there were moments you wanted to give up, but you didn't. And that matters more than you realize. Because every time you chose to keep going, you moved closer to this moment. This moment right now, where things begin to make sense. Where you stop doubting yourself. Where you stop chasing what drains you. Where you start choosing what brings you peace. Peace, not chaos. Clarity, not confusion. Truth, not illusion. You are not meant to live in constant uncertainty. You are not meant to question your worth. You are not meant to beg for what should come naturally. And from this point forward, you won't. But you have to make a decision. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now. Are you ready to step into the version of yourself that you've been avoiding but secretly becoming? Because once you say yes to that, everything begins to change. Not all at once. Not instantly, but clearly. You will start to see things differently. You will start to feel differently. You will start to walk away from what once felt impossible to leave. And when you do, you will realize something powerful. You were never stuck. You were just waiting. Waiting for clarity. Waiting for strength. Waiting for the moment when you finally chose yourself. And that moment is here. So before we go any further, I want you to do something simple. Not for me, but for you. If something inside you is resonating right now, if you feel even a small shift, if you know deep down this message is reaching you for a reason, type, I am ready, in your mind or wherever you feel comfortable. This is not about others seeing it. This is about you acknowledging it. Because awareness is the first step. And once you become aware, you cannot go back to who you were before. Now listen closely. The next part of your life will not be built on fear. It will be built on alignment. You will start attracting people who understand you, situations that support you, opportunities that don't drain you but grow you. But only if you stay present. Only if you stop ignoring what you already know. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to stop pretending you don't feel what you feel. Trust that. Follow that. Grow into that. And as you do, you will begin to see doors open that once felt impossible. Not because of luck, not because of chance, but because you finally aligned with what was always meant for you. Now stay with me till the end of this journey, because this is just the beginning, and what's coming next will help you understand your life in a way you never have before. And if these words brought even a little clarity or peace into your heart, take a moment to support this message. You can like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you feel genuinely connected to this message and want to support this work, you can do so through the link given below, only if it feels right to you. Because what matters most is that you are here, and you are finally listening. Stay here with me just a little longer, because what you are feeling right now is not something to rush past. So many times before, you felt something similar, a moment of clarity, a spark of realization, and then life pulled you back into noise, into distraction, into routine. And you forgot. But this time, you will not forget. Because this is not just another moment. This is a turning point. I want you to understand something clearly. The life you have been living until now was not a mistake. Every delay, every disappointment, every time things didn't work out the way you expected, it was not punishment. It was preparation. Yes, even the things that hurt you, even the people who walked away, even the doors that closed in your face, even the times you felt rejected, overlooked, or misunderstood, none of it was random. You see, you kept asking, why is this happening to me? But the better question was always, what is this shaping me into? Because every experience carved something inside you. It made you more aware. It made you stronger. It made you see through things you once believed blindly. You are not the same person you were before. And that is exactly why things around you are starting to feel different now. Some conversations feel empty. Some connections feel forced. Some environments feel heavy. It's not because something is wrong with you. It's because you are evolving. And growth always creates distance between who you were and who you are becoming. That distance can feel uncomfortable, sometimes lonely, sometimes confusing, because you are standing between two versions of yourself, the one that is familiar and the one that is calling you forward. And I know, part of you wants to go back to what felt easier, back to what felt known, back to what didn't require so much awareness. But listen carefully. You cannot go back to a place that no longer fits you. Even if you try, it will feel wrong, because once your eyes open, they don't close the same way again. You see more now, you feel more now, you understand more now. And with that understanding comes responsibility. Responsibility to choose better. Responsibility to act with awareness. Responsibility to stop settling for things that quietly break you. You deserve peace. Not temporary comfort, but real peace. The kind that doesn't disappear when situations change. The kind that stays even when life feels uncertain. And that kind of peace only comes when you align your actions with your truth. Not with fear, not with pressure, not with what others expect from you, but with what you know deep inside is right. You have ignored that inner knowing before. You felt it, but you pushed it aside. You sensed something, but you stayed silent. You knew something wasn't right, but you chose convenience. And every time you did that, you felt the consequence. Not always immediately, but eventually. Because truth does not disappear when ignored, it waits. And now, it is standing in front of you again, clearer than ever, stronger than ever. And this time, you have a choice. You can listen, or you can repeat the same patterns again. But understand this, the life you want, the peace you seek, the clarity you've been asking for, They are on the other side of that choice, not in avoiding it, not in delaying it, but in facing it. And yes, I know that takes courage, because choosing growth often means letting go of people who no longer align, letting go of habits that no longer serve you, letting go of versions of yourself that kept you safe but small. And that can feel like loss. But it is not loss. It is making space for something better, something real, something aligned with who you are becoming. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to chase anything. What is truly meant for you will not require you to abandon yourself. It will not require you to shrink. It will not require you to ignore your intuition. It will meet you in clarity. It will feel like peace, not confusion. And this is how you will recognize it. Not by how exciting it looks, but by how calm it feels. You have been taught to chase intensity. But now, you are learning to value stability. You have been drawn to what feels strong and overwhelming. But now, you are being guided toward what feels steady and real. And that shift, that quiet change in what you seek, is one of the biggest signs of your growth. So don't doubt yourself. Don't question your evolution. Don't shrink back just because things feel unfamiliar. You are not lost. You are being redirected. And sometimes, redirection feels like confusion at first, but in time it becomes clarity. Now I want you to reflect for a moment. Think about the things you've been tolerating, the situations you've been unsure about, the feelings you've been pushing aside. You already know what needs to change. You don't need more time to figure it out. You need courage to act on what you already understand. And you have that courage. Even if you don't fully feel it yet, it's there. Because you are still here, still listening, still searching for truth. And that means something inside you is ready. Ready to move forward. Ready to grow. Ready to choose differently. So don't ignore this moment. Don't scroll past it, like you've done before with other realizations. Let it stay with you. Let it guide you. Let it shape your next step. And before we move deeper into what's coming next, I want you to acknowledge something within yourself. Not loudly, not for anyone else, just for you. If you feel that you are stepping into a new phase, if you sense that something inside you is shifting, if you are ready to stop repeating the same cycles, then quietly say to yourself, I choose growth. Let that be your decision, because from that choice, everything else will follow. Stay with me. Don't leave yet. What comes next will help you understand not just what is changing, but why it had to happen this way. And it will give you the clarity you've been searching for. Just stay present. Do not rush away now, because what is unfolding inside you is delicate and powerful at the same time. Most people reach this point, and then they turn back, not because they want to, but because facing truth requires honesty. And honesty can feel uncomfortable. But you stayed. And that already tells me something about you. It tells me you are not afraid of truth anymore. Even if it shakes you a little, even if it asks you to change. Now listen closely. There is something you must understand about where you are right now in your life. You are no longer in the phase of searching blindly. You are in the phase of recognizing clearly. Before, you were confused about what you wanted. Now, you are clear about what you no longer want. And that clarity is just as powerful. Because when you truly understand what no longer fits you, you stop forcing yourself into spaces that were never meant for you. Think about it. How many times did you stay longer than you should have? How many times did you ignore signs just to keep things going? How many times did you convince yourself, maybe it will get better, even when deep down you knew it wouldn't? That was not weakness. That was attachment. Attachment to comfort. Attachment to familiarity. Attachment to the hope that things would change without you having to change anything. But now, something inside you is different. You are not willing to ignore the truth anymore. And that is where your power begins. Because the moment you stop lying to yourself, you start aligning with reality. And reality is where transformation begins. Now I need you to hear this carefully. Not everything that leaves your life is a loss. Some things are being removed because they were blocking what is truly meant for you. Yes, even the things you once prayed for. Because sometimes you prayed from a place of pain, not clarity. You asked for things that felt right at the time, but were not right for the person you are becoming. And so, those things did not last. Not because you were denied, but because you were being protected. Protection does not always feel good. Sometimes it feels like rejection. Sometimes it feels like disappointment. Sometimes it feels like confusion. But in time, it reveals itself as alignment. Look back at your life for a moment. There are things you once wanted so badly that today you are grateful you did not receive. There are people you thought you couldn't live without, who are no longer part of your life. And now, you see things more clearly. You see what was not right. You see what was not genuine. You see what would have held you back. That clarity is not something you had before, but you have it now. So why would you go back? Why would you lower your awareness just to feel temporary comfort? You won't, because you've come too far. Now listen, the next phase of your life will require one important shift. You must stop chasing what feels familiar and start choosing what feels right. Those are not always the same. Familiar can feel safe, even when it is harmful. Right can feel uncomfortable, even when it is healthy. And this is where many people get stuck. They confuse comfort with alignment. But you are learning the difference. You are learning that peace is more valuable than excitement that leads to pain. You are learning that clarity is more important than temporary validation. You are learning that your energy, your time, your presence, they are valuable. And not everyone deserves access to them. Yes, you can be kind. Yes, you can be understanding. But you no longer have to sacrifice yourself to prove your worth, because your worth was never something you had to prove. It was something you had to recognize. And now, you are starting to see it. You are starting to understand that you deserve honesty. You deserve respect. You deserve consistency. You deserve peace. Not sometimes, always. And once you truly accept that, you will stop accepting less. This is where your standards rise. Not out of ego, but out of self-awareness. Not out of pride, but out of self-respect. And when your standards rise, your life begins to change. The people around you change. The situations you allow change. The opportunities you attract change. Because you are no longer operating from the same level. You are thinking differently. You are choosing differently. You are living differently. And that changes everything. Now I want you to understand something deeper. You are not just leaving things behind. You are becoming someone new, not completely different, but more aligned with who you were always meant to be. A version of you that trusts yourself, listens to your intuition, does not ignore red flags, does not settle out of fear, does not stay where you are not valued. This version of you already exists. You are just stepping into it. And yes, there will be moments of doubt, moments where you question your decisions, moments where you feel unsure. But that does not mean you are on the wrong path. It means you are on a new one, and new paths always feel uncertain at first. But with each step, clarity grows, confidence builds, peace settles in. So don't rush the process. Don't expect everything to make sense immediately. Just keep choosing what feels true. Keep honoring what you know inside. Keep moving forward, even if slowly, because you are not behind. You are right on time. Now, before we go deeper, I want you to pause for a second. Reflect on how far you've come, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You are not who you were before, and that matters. So if you feel that growth within you, if you recognize that you are no longer the same person, if you are ready to fully step into this new version of yourself, then acknowledge it in your own way. You can whisper it, you can think it, Or if you feel comfortable, you can write it somewhere. I am evolving. Let that be your truth. Because once you accept that, you stop resisting change, and you start flowing with it. Stay with me. Don't leave yet. Because what comes next will help you understand how to protect this growth, and how to make sure you don't fall back into old patterns again. This next part is where everything becomes even clearer. Stay with me. You're closer than you think. There is a reason you're still here, still listening, still allowing these words to reach you. Because something inside you is no longer resisting truth. And now, we need to talk about something important. Not what's ahead, but what can pull you backward. Yes, even now, as you are growing, healing, and becoming more aware, there are still patterns, habits, and influences that can quietly try to bring you back to who you used to be. And they won't always look obvious. They won't always appear as something negative. Sometimes they will look familiar. Sometimes they will feel comfortable. Sometimes they will come disguised as just one more time. And this is where your awareness matters most. Because growth is not just about moving forward. It's about protecting the version of yourself you are becoming. You have already done the hard part. You've started to see clearly. But now, you must learn to stand firmly in that clarity. Because not everything will support your growth. Some people will not understand your change. Some will question it. Some will even try to pull you back. Not because they want to harm you, but because your growth makes them uncomfortable. When you change, it changes the dynamics around you. The way you respond changes. The way you tolerate things changes. The way you carry yourself changes. And not everyone will be ready for that. But listen carefully. You are not responsible for making others comfortable at the cost of your own peace. You are not here to shrink so others can stay the same. You are here to grow. And growth requires boundaries. Yes, boundaries. Not walls that block love, but clarity that protects your energy. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about deciding what you will allow and what you will no longer accept. Before, you said yes when you wanted to say no. Before, you stayed silent when something felt wrong. Before, you tolerated things that slowly drained you. But now, you are learning to pause, to think, to choose consciously. And that changes everything. Because when you start choosing consciously, you stop living on autopilot. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop repeating and start evolving. Now understand this. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It is necessary. Because without peace, you lose clarity. Without clarity, you lose direction. Without direction, you fall back into old patterns, and you have come too far for that. So pay attention to what disturbs your peace. Not everything that feels uncomfortable is wrong, but everything that consistently drains you is not right for you. Learn the difference. Growth can feel uncomfortable, but it brings expansion. Toxicity can feel familiar, but it brings exhaustion. One builds you, the other breaks you slowly. And now, you are aware enough to choose. You are no longer in the phase of blindly accepting everything. You are in the phase of observing, understanding, and deciding. That is your power. Use it. Now let me tell you something that will help you even more. Not every opportunity is meant for you. Not every invitation deserves your yes. Not every path you see is yours to walk. And that's okay, because the more aligned you become, the more selective you must be. You don't need to do everything. You don't need to please everyone. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to stay true to what feels right. And when you do that, life becomes simpler. Not easier, but clearer. You stop overthinking every decision. You stop second-guessing yourself constantly. You stop seeking approval from people who don't truly understand you. Because you trust yourself. And trust is built through consistency. Every time you listen to your inner voice, trust grows. Every time you ignore it, doubt grows. So choose wisely. Now, I want you to think about something. There are moments in your life where you knew exactly what to do, but you hesitated. Not because you didn't understand, but because you were afraid of the outcome. afraid of change, afraid of losing something, afraid of stepping into the unknown. And so, you stayed. But what did staying cost you? Your peace? Your energy? Your clarity? You see, sometimes staying where you are not aligned costs more than leaving. And now, you are realizing that. You are starting to understand that your peace is not something to negotiate. It is something to protect. So moving forward, you must be intentional. Intentional with your time. Intentional with your energy. Intentional with your decisions. Because every small choice shapes your future. Not just the big ones. The small ones matter. What you allow, what you ignore, what you accept, what you walk away from. All of it creates direction. And now, you are choosing a new direction. Not by force, but by awareness. Now, before we go deeper, I want you to ground yourself in this truth. You are allowed to outgrow people. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to choose yourself. And that does not make you wrong. It makes you aligned. So if you feel that you are ready to protect your peace, if you feel that you are ready to stop going back to what drains you, if you are ready to stand firm in your growth, then acknowledge it within yourself. Say it quietly or feel it deeply. I choose peace over pressure. Let that guide you. Because from this point forward, you are not just growing, you are protecting your growth. Stay with me, don't leave now. Because in the next part, you will begin to understand how everything that is happening is leading you towards something greater than you expected. And when you see it clearly, you will no longer doubt the path you are on. Stay. Don't lose this moment. Because what you are stepping into now is deeper than understanding. It is realization. And realization changes everything. Up until now, you have been learning how to see clearly, how to let go, how to protect your peace. But now, you must understand why all of this is happening in your life at this exact time. Nothing about your journey is random. Not the delays, not the confusion, not even the silence you once felt. There is a pattern to everything you've experienced, and that pattern has been guiding you, even when you didn't realize it. Think about the moments when things didn't work out. You thought it was the end. You thought you lost something important. You thought you missed your chance. But later, you saw the truth. It wasn't the end. It was redirection. Because if those things had worked out, you would not be where you are now. You would not have grown the way you did. You would not have seen what you see now. You would not have become who you are becoming. So what felt like loss was actually guidance. And what felt like delay was actually timing. You were never behind. You were being positioned. Positioned for something that requires this version of you, not the version you were before. And now, you are starting to step into that position. But here is where many people misunderstand this moment. They think the change will come from outside. A new opportunity, a new person, a new situation. But real change always begins inside. Because if you don't change internally, even the best opportunities will not feel right. You will doubt them. You will question them. You will sabotage them without even realizing it. That is why everything you've been going through has been preparing your inner world first. Your mindset, your awareness, your standards, your boundaries. Because once those are aligned, everything external begins to align naturally. You don't chase anymore. You attract. You don't force anymore. You allow. You don't settle anymore. You choose. And that shift is powerful. Now listen carefully. What is coming into your life next will match the level of clarity you have reached. Not your past, not your fears, not your doubts, but your clarity. So if you are still holding on to confusion, you will attract more confusion. If you are still holding on to fear, you will attract situations that trigger that fear. But if you stand in clarity, if you trust what you know, if you move with awareness, you will begin to experience something different, something calm, something stable, something real. This is not about luck. This is about alignment. And alignment happens when your thoughts, your actions, and your truth are in harmony. Not when you say one thing and feel another, Not when you know something, but ignore it. But when you live in honesty with yourself. And now, you are ready for that. You are no longer trying to convince yourself of things that don't feel right. You are no longer ignoring what your intuition is showing you. You are no longer chasing what drains you. You are stepping into alignment. And that changes the direction of your life. Now I want to tell you something important. As things begin to shift for you, as you start experiencing more clarity and peace, do not rush. Do not try to force things to happen faster. Because what is truly aligned with you will not require rushing. It will unfold naturally, step by step, moment by moment, and you will feel it. Not as excitement that fades quickly, but as peace that stays. That is how you will know. Now think about this. For a long time, you were searching for signs outside, looking for confirmation, looking for answers, looking for something to tell you what to do. But now, you are becoming the person who knows. Not everything, but enough. Enough to make decisions, enough to trust yourself, enough to move forward. And that is growth. Now, I want you to understand something deeper. You are not just building a better life. You are building a stronger relationship with yourself. And that relationship will shape everything else. Because when you trust yourself, you choose better. You walk away faster from what's not right. You recognize what aligns with you. And most importantly, you stop abandoning yourself. That is the shift. No more abandoning yourself to keep others. No more ignoring your truth to maintain comfort. No more settling just to avoid change. You are choosing yourself now, and that will change everything around you. Now, before we move further, take a moment. Feel everything you've understood so far. Feel the shift inside you. And if you recognize that you are stepping into alignment, if you feel that you are no longer the same person you were before, if you are ready to trust yourself more than ever, then acknowledge it. Say it in your heart, or wherever you feel it deeply. I trust my path. Let that become your foundation. Because from this point forward, things will begin to unfold in ways you didn't expect. Not because life suddenly changed, but because you did. Stay with me till the end. Don't miss what's coming next. Because the next part will reveal something even deeper. Something about what is already moving behind the scenes in your life, even if you cannot see it yet. And if these words are bringing clarity, peace, or even a small sense of direction into your life, take a moment to support this message in your own way. You can like, share, and subscribe so you continue receiving guidance like this. And if you feel happy and truly connected with these words, you can support this work through the link given below. Only if it feels right to you. Now stay. Because what comes next will open your understanding even more. Stay here, just a little deeper now. Because what I'm about to reveal to you is something you cannot see with your eyes, but you have already started to feel. There are things moving in your life right now behind the scenes, quietly, slowly, precisely. You may not notice them yet. You may not fully understand them, but they are happening. And this is where trust becomes important, because not everything that is real is visible immediately. You have been trained to believe that if you cannot see progress, nothing is happening. But that is not true. Some of the most important changes in your life happen in silence. Think about yourself. Your growth did not happen overnight. Your awareness did not appear suddenly. Your strength was not built in a single moment. It happened quietly, in the way you started thinking differently, in the way you reacted less and observed more, in the way you began to question things you once accepted blindly. That was movement, even if no one else saw it, even if you didn't fully recognize it at the time. And just like that, there are things aligning for you right now. Situations being prepared, people being repositioned, paths being cleared, even if you don't realize it yet. But here is the key. You must not interrupt what is being prepared for you. And how do you interrupt it? By rushing, by doubting, by going back to what you already outgrew. Yes, That is how most people delay their own progress. Not because things are not coming, but because they step out of alignment before those things arrive. You have done that before. You felt something shifting, but then you returned to old habits. You sensed clarity, but then you listened to fear. You were close, but you doubted yourself, and that pulled you back. But this time, it will be different, because now you are aware. Now you recognize your patterns. Now you can choose differently, and that choice will change everything. Now listen carefully. There are moments in your life where nothing seems to be happening, but in reality, everything is being set up. This is one of those moments. You may feel like you are waiting, but you are not waiting. You are being aligned. Aligned with the right timing, aligned with the right people, aligned with the right opportunities. Because if things came too early, you would not have been ready. You might have rushed into them. You might have misunderstood them. You might have lost them. But now, you are becoming ready. Not perfect, not fully certain, but ready enough. Ready to recognize what is real. Ready to walk away from what is not. Ready to choose with awareness instead of impulse. And that readiness is everything. Now let me tell you something important. What is meant for you does not need to be chased, but it does need to be received. And receiving requires openness. If your mind is filled with doubt, you will block what is trying to come in. If your heart is closed from past experiences, you will not recognize what is genuine. If you are constantly expecting the worst, you will miss what is actually good. So this is your next step. Stay open. Not naive, not careless, but open. Open to new possibilities. Open to new connections. Open to new ways of thinking. Because what is coming into your life may not look the way you expected. It may not come through the path you imagined, but it will come in alignment. And when it does, you will feel it. Not as confusion, but as clarity. Not as pressure, but as peace. That is your sign. Now understand this clearly. You are no longer in a phase of chasing external validation. You are in a phase of inner confirmation. You don't need everyone to agree with your choices. You don't need everyone to understand your path. You just need to be aligned with yourself. Because when you are aligned, things begin to flow. Not perfectly, but naturally. And that flow, that is where life begins to feel different. Less forced, less chaotic, less exhausting, more steady, more clear, more meaningful. And that is what you are moving toward. Now I want you to reflect on something. There were times in your life where things felt rushed, intense, overwhelming. You thought that was excitement. You thought that was something meaningful. But now, you see differently. Now, you understand that what is truly meant for you does not create chaos. It creates peace. And this shift in understanding will guide you moving forward. Because now, you will not confuse intensity with alignment. You will not mistake pressure for purpose. You will choose what feels right, not what feels urgent. And that will protect you. Now, before we go further, take a moment to feel this truth. You are not stuck. You are not delayed. You are not forgotten. Things are moving, even if you cannot see them yet. So if you feel ready to trust what is unfolding in your life, if you feel ready to stay aligned instead of rushing, if you feel ready to remain open to what is coming, then acknowledge it within yourself. Say it quietly or feel it deeply. I trust what I cannot yet see. Let that anchor you. Because from this point forward, your journey will not be guided by fear, but by trust. Stay with me. Don't leave now, because the next part will reveal something even more powerful. You will begin to understand the role of people in your life, who is aligned with you and who is not. And once you see that clearly, you will never look at relationships the same way again. Stay here. Don't drift away now, because what I am about to show you will change the way you see people in your life forever. Not everyone around you is meant to walk with you where you are going, and deep down, you already know this. There are people in your life who were part of your past, but they are not meant to be part of your future. Not because they are bad, not because they hurt you intentionally, but because they no longer align with who you are becoming. And this is one of the hardest truths to accept, because you have memories with them, you have history with them, you have emotions tied to them. But listen carefully. History is not a reason to hold on to something that no longer serves your growth. Just because something was once right does not mean it is still right. And you are starting to feel that now. Conversations that once felt easy now feel forced. Connections that once felt strong now feel distant. Situations that once felt normal now feel heavy. This is not your imagination. This is your awareness expanding. And when your awareness expands, you begin to see things as they truly are, not as you wish them to be. Now understand this clearly. There are 3 types of people in your life right now. Those who are aligned with your growth, those who are neutral, passing through your journey, and those who are holding you back, even if unintentionally. And your task is not to judge them. Your task is to recognize them. Because once you recognize, you can choose. Before, you stayed connected to everyone out of habit, out of comfort, out of fear of losing people. But now, you are learning that not every connection needs to be maintained. Some are meant to end. Some are meant to change. Some are meant to remain, but at a distance. And that is okay. You are not here to hold on to everything. You are here to grow. Now listen, there will be moments when people from your past try to come back. Not always physically, sometimes emotionally. Memories will return. Old feelings will resurface. Familiar patterns will try to pull you in again. And in those moments, you must remember who you are now, not who you were before. Because if you respond as your old self, you will repeat the same cycle. But if you respond as your current self, you will break it. And breaking cycles is one of the most powerful things you can do. It is not easy, because familiarity feels comfortable, even when it is not right. But you are no longer choosing comfort over truth. You are choosing alignment. And that means sometimes you will have to walk away, quietly, respectfully, without anger, without explanation. Because not everything requires closure. Some things just require clarity. And you already have that clarity. Now let me tell you something deeper. The people who are truly aligned with you will not make you question your worth. They will not create confusion in your mind. They will not drain your energy. They will bring peace. Not perfection, but peace. They will respect your growth. They will understand your boundaries. They will support your evolution, not resist it. And when you experience that, you will know the difference. Because it will feel natural. Not forced, not complicated, just real. Now think about this. You have spent so much time trying to maintain connections that required too much effort, too much explaining, too much compromising, too much adjusting. And in doing that, you slowly moved away from yourself. But now, you are returning to yourself. And as you do, your relationships will change. Some will grow stronger. Some will fade away. Some will end completely. And none of that is failure. It is alignment. Now I want you to understand something important. Letting go does not mean you didn't care. It means you care about yourself enough to choose what is right. You can still wish people well. You can still respect what was. But you don't have to stay where you no longer belong. That is your growth. That is your strength. And that is your next step. Now listen carefully. Moving forward, you must be intentional about who you allow into your space. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts. Not everyone deserves access to your time. Because your energy is valuable, and where you invest it shapes your life. So choose wisely. Choose people who bring clarity, not confusion. Choose people who bring peace, not pressure. Choose people who support your growth, not hold you back. And most importantly, choose yourself. Every time. Now before we go deeper, take a moment to reflect on the people in your life, not with judgment, but with awareness. Who makes you feel aligned? Who makes you feel drained? Who brings peace? Who creates confusion? You already know. So if you feel ready to choose relationships that align with your growth, if you feel ready to let go of what no longer fits, if you are ready to stop holding on to connections out of habit, then acknowledge it within yourself. Say it quietly or feel it deeply. I choose connections that align with my peace. Let that guide you, because from this point forward, your relationships will no longer be based on attachment, but on alignment. Stay with me. Don't leave now, because the next part will reveal something even deeper. You will begin to understand your purpose in all of this. Why you had to go through everything you experienced, and what it is preparing you for next. And when you see that clearly, you will no longer question your journey. Stay. Don't lose focus now, because what you are about to understand is the reason behind everything you have been through. Not just the good moments, but the difficult ones. Not just the growth, but the pain. You have asked this question before, maybe silently, maybe out loud. Why did I have to go through all of that? And for a long time, it felt like there was no clear answer. It felt unfair. It felt confusing. It felt like you were being tested beyond your strength. But now, you are ready to understand. Nothing you experienced was meaningless. Every challenge, every delay, every disappointment was shaping something inside you, not breaking you, building you. You may not have seen it at the time, because when you are inside the moment, you only feel the weight of it. But now, you are starting to see the result. You are stronger, not in a loud, obvious way, but in a quiet, steady way. You don't react the same way anymore. You don't fall apart the same way anymore. You don't depend on others the same way anymore. That is strength. And it was built through everything you went through. Now listen carefully. Your experiences were not just for you. They were preparing you for something bigger. Because the understanding you have now, the awareness you have now, the emotional depth you carry now is not common. Not everyone has it. Not everyone has gone through what you have gone through and come out with this level of awareness. And that awareness, that is your power. You can see things others don't see. You can feel things others ignore. You can understand situations on a deeper level. And this is not a burden. It is a gift. But only if you use it correctly. Because if you don't understand your own depth, you might feel overwhelmed by it. You might think you are too much, too emotional, too sensitive, too aware. But you are not too much. You are just not meant for shallow environments. You are not meant for surface-level connections. You are not meant for spaces that cannot hold your depth. And now, you are starting to realize that. This is why certain things no longer satisfy you. This is why certain conversations feel empty. This is why certain environments feel draining. Because you have outgrown them. Not because you are better than anyone, but because you are different now. And that difference is part of your purpose. Now listen, your purpose is not just something you find one day. It is something you grow into through your experiences, through your awareness, through your choices. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you step closer to it. Every time you choose truth over illusion, you step closer to it. Every time you choose yourself over what drains you, you step closer to it. And now, you are closer than ever. But here is something important you must understand. Purpose is not always loud. It is not always dramatic. It is not always something the world immediately recognizes. Sometimes, purpose is quiet. It is in the way you show up. It is in the way you treat people. It is in the way you carry your awareness into your life. It is in the choices you make every single day. And those choices create impact. Even if you don't see it immediately. Now think about this. There are people in your life, or people you will meet, who will be influenced by your growth, by your clarity, by your strength, by your ability to walk away from what is not right. They will see it, and it will inspire them, not because you are trying to teach them, but because you are living in alignment. And that is powerful, because real impact does not come from words alone. It comes from example, and you are becoming that example. Now let me tell you something deeper. Everything you went through, the pain, the confusion, the moments you felt lost, they gave you something. They gave you empathy, the ability to understand others, the ability to feel deeply, the ability to connect beyond the surface. And that is rare. But it also means you must be careful where you invest that energy, because not everyone will value it. Not everyone will understand it, and that is okay. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to align with what is meant for you, and that includes your purpose, your path, Now, you are stepping into that alignment, not perfectly, but consciously. And that is enough. Now, before we go further, take a moment to reflect on everything you have been through, not with pain, but with understanding. Look at how it shaped you. Look at how it changed you. Look at how it brought you here. And if you can see that your journey had meaning, if you can feel that everything you experienced was leading you somewhere, if you are ready to embrace your purpose, even if you don't fully understand it yet, then acknowledge it. Say it quietly or feel it deeply. Everything I went through had a purpose. Let that settle within you, because once you accept that, you stop seeing your past as something that held you back and start seeing it as something that prepared you. Stay with me. Don't leave now, because the next part will take you even deeper. You will begin to understand what is coming next in your life and how to recognize it when it arrives. And when you see it clearly, you will not miss it this time. Stay with me. You are very close now, because what I'm about to reveal is not about your past anymore. It is about what is coming into your life next. And you must be ready to recognize it. Not with fear, not with doubt, but with clarity. Because one of the biggest mistakes you made before was not that opportunities didn't come. It was that you didn't recognize them for what they truly were. Sometimes you saw something real and questioned it. Sometimes you saw something unclear and chased it. You confused what felt intense with what was meant for you. But now, that is changing. Now, you are learning to recognize things differently, and that will protect you. Now listen carefully. What is coming into your life next will not arrive the way you expect. It will not come with noise. It will not come with pressure. It will not come with confusion. It will come quietly. And that is why many people miss it. Because they are used to chaos. They are used to things that demand attention. Things that create urgency. Things that feel overwhelming. But what is truly aligned does not fight for your attention. It meets you in clarity. And if you are not present, if you are distracted, if you are still attached to the old patterns, you might overlook it. So this is your preparation. You must slow down. Not your life, but your mind. Because when your mind is constantly busy, you cannot see clearly. You overthink. You doubt. You miss what is simple. And what is coming into your life will be simple. Not complicated, not confusing, simple. And that simplicity will feel unfamiliar at first. Because you are used to complexity. You are used to figuring things out. You are used to analyzing. You are used to questioning everything. But now, you are stepping into a space where things will feel clear without effort. And you must learn to trust that. Now understand this. Clarity does not mean everything will be perfect. It means you will know what something is, without forcing yourself to understand it. You will not need to convince yourself. You will not need to ignore red flags. You will not need to guess. You will know. And that knowing is something you are already developing. Think about it. There are moments now where you sense things immediately. You feel when something is off. You feel when something is right. You feel when something doesn't align. That is your intuition becoming stronger. And that is what will guide you moving forward. Now let me tell you something important. what is coming next in your life will test your growth. Not in a negative way, but in a way that asks, are you ready to choose differently? Because you will be given options, options that look familiar, and options that feel new, options that pull you back, and options that move you forward. And in that moment, you will have to decide, not based on habit, not based on fear, but based on who you are now. And that decision will change your direction. Because life does not change all at once. It changes through decisions, small ones and big ones. And now you are being prepared to make them with awareness. Now listen carefully. There is something else you must understand. Not everything that comes into your life next is meant to stay. Some things will come to test you. Some will come to teach you. Some will come to confirm your growth. And you must learn to recognize the difference. Before, you held on to everything. You tried to make everything work. You tried to keep everything together. But now, you are learning to observe first, to understand first, to feel before you decide. And that is wisdom, because not every opportunity is a blessing. Some are distractions. And now, you are aware enough to see that. So moving forward, you must stay grounded, not in fear, but in awareness. Do not rush into things just because they appear. Do not accept things just because they are available. Take your time, feel it, understand it, and then choose. Because what is truly meant for you will not require you to rush. It will remain. Now I want you to understand something deeper. You are entering a phase of your life where alignment will bring results. Not instantly, but clearly. Things will begin to make sense. Situations will begin to unfold. Connections will begin to form. And you will start to see why things happened the way they did. Why certain paths closed. Why certain people left. Why certain delays occurred. Because now everything is coming together. Not randomly, but intentionally. Now take a moment. Feel what is shifting inside you. You are no longer searching blindly. You are preparing consciously. And that changes everything. So if you feel ready to recognize what is coming into your life, if you feel ready to trust clarity over confusion, if you are ready to choose based on who you are now, not who you were before, then acknowledge it within yourself. Say it quietly or feel it deeply. I am ready to recognize what is meant for me. Let that guide you, because from this point forward, you will not miss what is aligned with you. Stay with me. Don't leave now, because the next part will reveal something even more important. You will begin to understand how to act when these changes begin to happen, and how to move forward without fear, without hesitation, and without falling back. And when you understand that, you will step fully into the life that is waiting for you. Stay with me. Do not lose this connection now, because what you are about to understand is how to move forward when everything begins to change. You have learned how to see. You have learned how to let go. You have learned how to recognize what aligns with you. But now comes the most important part. Action. Not rushed action. Not fearful action. Aligned action. Because awareness without action will keep you in the same place. You can understand everything. You can feel everything. You can recognize everything. But if you do not move, nothing changes. And this is where many people stay stuck. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait until they feel completely ready. They wait until all fear disappears. But listen carefully. That moment never comes. You do not move when fear is gone. You move when you decide that your growth is more important than your fear. And that decision is what you are being called to make now. You will not feel 100% certain. You will not feel completely confident. But you will feel something else. A quiet knowing. A sense that this is right, even if it feels unfamiliar. And that is enough. Now understand this clearly. The next step in your life will not be revealed all at once. You will not see the entire path. You will only see the next step. And that is intentional. Because if you saw everything, you might overwhelm yourself. So you are being guided step by step. And your role is to take the step you can see, not the one you cannot. Trust what is in front of you. Act on what you understand now. Do not wait for full clarity on everything, because clarity grows through movement, not through waiting. Now listen, there will be moments where you hesitate. Moments where your mind starts to question everything. What if this is wrong? What if I fail? What if things don't work out? And in those moments, you must remember this truth. Doing nothing is also a decision. And most of the time, it is the decision that keeps you stuck. You have already seen what staying in the same place feels like. You have already experienced what happens when you ignore your growth. So why would you go back? You won't. Because now, you are aware. And awareness changes everything. Now let me tell you something important. Moving forward does not mean everything will be easy. There will be challenges. But these challenges will be different. They will not break you. They will build you, because now you are not reacting blindly. You are choosing consciously, and that changes how you experience everything. Before, challenges confused you. Now, they will teach you. Before, obstacles made you doubt yourself. Now, they will strengthen your confidence, because your mindset is different. Your awareness is different. You are different. Now understand this. You do not need to rush your progress. You do not need to compare yourself to anyone else. Your path is your own, and it is unfolding exactly as it should. Focus on your steps. Focus on your growth. Focus on your alignment. And everything else will follow. Now I want you to think about something. There is something in your life right now, a decision you have been delaying, an action you have been avoiding, a step you know you need to take, but haven't taken yet. You know what it is. You don't need to search for it. You feel it. And this is your moment. Not to overthink it, not to delay it, but to move. Even if it is a small step. Because small steps create momentum. And momentum creates change. Now listen carefully. You are not being asked to be perfect. You are being asked to be honest with yourself, to act on what you already know, to stop ignoring your own clarity. And once you do that, you will begin to feel something shift, not outside first, but inside. Confidence, not loud, but steady. Clarity, not overwhelming, but calm. Direction, not forced, but natural. And from that place, everything begins to flow. Now before we go further, take a moment. Feel the truth of what you understood. You are ready to move forward. Not because everything is clear, but because you are. So if you feel ready to take action in your life, if you are ready to stop waiting and start moving, if you are ready to trust yourself enough to take the next step, then acknowledge it within yourself. Say it quietly or feel it deeply. I am ready to move forward. Let that become your decision, because from this point forward, you will not stay where you are out of fear. You will move with awareness. Stay with me till the end. Do not miss what is coming next, because what I will reveal next will help you stay consistent on this path, even when things feel uncertain. And if these words are guiding you, helping you, or bringing clarity into your life, take a moment to support this message. You can like, share, and subscribe so you stay connected to what is coming next. And if you feel happy and truly connected with these words, you can support this work through the link given below, only if it feels right to you. Now stay, because the next part will show you how to remain strong, no matter what comes. Stay here, don't step away now, because what you are about to understand is what will keep you steady when things around you begin to shift. You have reached a point where movement has begun, not just outside, but inside you. And when inner movement begins, life starts to respond. Situations begin to change. People begin to act differently. Opportunities begin to appear or disappear, and in the middle of all this, you must remain steady. Because change, even when it is good, can feel overwhelming. Not because it is wrong, but because it is unfamiliar. And your mind, your old patterns, will try to pull you back into what feels known, back into comfort, back into hesitation, back into doubt. And this is where consistency becomes your strength. Because it is not one decision that changes your life. It is repeated decisions made with awareness. Every day. You don't just choose growth once. You choose it again and again and again. In small ways. In the way you respond to situations. In the way you manage your thoughts. In the way you handle your emotions. And these small choices, they build your foundation. Now listen carefully. There will be days when you feel strong, clear, focused, confident. And then there will be days when you feel uncertain, when your mind becomes noisy, when old thoughts return, when doubt tries to speak louder than clarity. And in those moments, you must not panic. You must not assume you are going backwards, because you are not. You are simply adjusting. Growth is not a straight line. It moves. Forward, pause, forward again. And that is normal. What matters is that you do not return to what you have already outgrown. You may feel uncertain, but you are not the same person. You may feel confused, but you still carry awareness. And that awareness is what will guide you back to clarity. Now understand this. Consistency is not about being perfect. It is about staying aligned even when you don't feel your best, even when you are tired, even when things don't go as planned. Because real growth happens in those moments, not when everything is easy, but when you choose to stay true, even when it is difficult. Now I want you to see something clearly. There is a difference between falling back and feeling challenged. Before, you used to fall back. You would return to old habits. You would ignore your growth. You would lose yourself in patterns you already knew were not right. But now, even when you feel challenged, you pause, you think, you recognize. And that pause, that awareness, that is your progress. That is your strength. And you must trust it. Now, listen carefully. As you continue on this path, you will begin to notice something powerful. Things that once triggered you will not affect you the same way. Situations that once confused you will become clear faster. People who once had influence over your emotions will no longer have the same impact. And this will show you that you are changing. Not in a way that disconnects you from yourself, but in a way that connects you deeper. You are becoming more stable, more grounded, more aware. And that is exactly what you need for what is coming next. Because what is coming will require you to stay centered, not to react impulsively, not to lose yourself in emotions, but to respond with clarity. And you are preparing for that now. Now I want you to understand something deeper. You do not need to control everything. You do not need to have every answer. You do not need to force outcomes. Your role is to stay aligned, to stay aware, to stay consistent. And when you do that, things begin to unfold naturally. Not always the way you expect, but always in a way that moves you forward. Now think about this. There were times in your life where you tried to control everything. You tried to predict outcomes. You tried to fix situations. You tried to hold things together. And it exhausted you. Because control is not your role. Alignment is. And now, you are learning the difference. Now, you are learning to trust the process while staying grounded in your actions. And that balance, that is what creates real progress. Now, before we go further, take a moment. Feel where you are right now. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are not confused. You are growing. And growth requires patience. So if you feel ready to stay consistent on your path, if you are ready to choose alignment again and again, if you are ready to trust your growth even on difficult days, then acknowledge it within yourself. Say it quietly or feel it deeply. I stay consistent with my growth. Let that become your strength. Because from this point forward, you will not depend on temporary motivation. You will build steady discipline. Stay with me, don't leave now. Because the next part will reveal something even deeper. You will begin to understand how to handle unexpected changes, and how to stay calm, clear, and grounded no matter what happens. And once you understand that, nothing will shake your path again. Stay here. Remain steady with me, because what I am about to show you now is how to remain calm when life does not go the way you expect. You have learned how to grow. You have learned how to choose. You have learned how to stay consistent. But there is one more thing you must understand. Not everything will happen the way you planned, and that is not something to fear. It is something to understand. Because unexpected changes are not interruptions. They are redirections. And most of the time, they come at the exact moment you think everything should go differently. You expect one outcome, but something else happens. You prepare for one direction, but life shifts you into another. And in those moments, your first reaction may be confusion. Why is this happening? I thought I was on the right path. Did I make the wrong choice? But listen carefully. A shift does not mean you made a mistake. It means something is being adjusted. Because even when you are aligned, there are still things beyond your control. Timing, other people, situations that are still unfolding. And sometimes, you are being redirected not because you are wrong, but because something better is being positioned for you. Now understand this clearly. Your reaction to unexpected change will determine your experience. If you react with fear, you will feel lost. If you react with resistance, you will feel stuck. But if you respond with awareness, you will begin to see. You will begin to understand. You will begin to notice that what seemed like a disruption was actually guidance. Now think about your past. There were moments where things didn't go as planned. At the time, it felt frustrating. It felt confusing. But later, you realized something. If things had gone the way you wanted, you would have ended up in a place that was not right for you. You would have stayed longer in situations that drained you. You would have missed better opportunities. And now, you can see it. That is the same process happening again. But this time, you are aware. So instead of reacting immediately, you can pause. Instead of assuming the worst, you can observe. Instead of resisting change, you can allow clarity to come. And that changes everything. Now listen carefully. Calmness is not something you wait to feel. It is something you choose. Even when things are uncertain. Even when answers are not immediate. Because when you stay calm, you create space. Space to think clearly. Space to understand what is happening. Space to respond instead of react. And that space, that is where clarity appears. Now let me tell you something important. You do not need to figure everything out instantly. You do not need to have all the answers right away. Some things require time. Not because you are slow, but because understanding unfolds step by step. And if you rush that process, you may misunderstand what is actually happening. So allow things to unfold. Stay present. Stay aware. And trust that clarity will come. Now understand this. Unexpected changes are not here to stop you. They are here to refine you, to show you where you are still reacting from old patterns, to show you where you need to trust more, to show you where you need to stay grounded. And every time you handle a situation with awareness instead of fear, you grow stronger, not visibly, but internally. And that internal strength, that is what will carry you forward. Now I want you to think about something. There will be moments ahead where things shift suddenly. A plan changes. A person behaves differently. A situation unfolds in a way you didn't expect. And in that moment, you will have a choice. To react or to remain grounded. To panic or to pause. To assume the worst or to observe with clarity. And that choice will define your experience, because the situation itself is only one part. Your response is what shapes everything. Now listen carefully. You are not being tested to fail. You are being prepared to handle life differently. With more awareness, with more stability, with more trust, and that preparation is happening right now. Now before we go deeper, take a moment to feel this truth. You do not need to control every outcome. You do not need to fear every change. You do not need to react to everything immediately. You can pause. You can breathe. You can stay grounded. So if you feel ready to handle unexpected changes with calmness, if you feel ready to respond with clarity instead of fear, if you are ready to trust that even disruptions can guide you forward, then acknowledge it within yourself. Say it quietly or feel it deeply. I remain calm through change. Let that become your anchor, because from this point forward, no sudden shift will shake you. You will remain steady. Stay with me. Don't leave now, because the next part will reveal something even deeper. You will begin to understand how to trust yourself completely, not sometimes, not partially, but fully. And when you reach that level of trust, nothing will confuse you again. Stay here. This is where everything becomes deeper, because what you are about to understand now is the foundation of everything you have been learning. Trust. Not trust in the outside world. Not trust in people. Not even trust in outcomes. Trust in yourself. For a long time, you searched for certainty outside. You looked for signs. You looked for validation. You looked for someone or something to confirm what you already felt inside. And when you didn't receive that confirmation, you doubted yourself. You questioned your decisions. You ignored your intuition. You followed what felt safer instead of what felt true. But now, you are being called to trust differently, not based on what others say, not based on what looks easy, not based on what feels familiar, but based on what you know deep within. Because you do know. Even if you don't always admit it, there is a quiet voice inside you that recognizes truth instantly. It does not shout, it does not argue, it simply knows. And for a long time, you ignored it. Not because you wanted to, but because you were not ready to trust it. You were afraid of being wrong. You were afraid of making the wrong decision. You were afraid of stepping into the unknown. So you chose hesitation. You chose delay. You chose to wait. But now you are not the same person. Now you are aware, and awareness changes your relationship with trust. Now listen carefully. Trusting yourself does not mean you will never feel doubt. It means you will not let doubt control your decisions. It means you will recognize doubt, but still choose what feels right, because doubt is part of the mind. But truth is something deeper. And you are learning to listen to that depth. Now understand this clearly. Every time you ignored your intuition in the past, there was a feeling, a small hesitation, a quiet discomfort, a sense that something wasn't right. And you felt it, but you pushed it aside. You told yourself, maybe I'm overthinking. You told yourself, maybe it will be fine. And sometimes it was not. But those experiences, they were not failures. They were lessons. They were showing you how your intuition speaks, and now you recognize it. Now you feel it more clearly. Now you understand it, and this time you will not ignore it. Now listen, trust is built through action, not just understanding. Every time you listen to yourself, trust grows. Every time you ignore yourself, trust weakens. So moving forward, you must choose, not once, but consistently. In small decisions and big ones, in everyday situations and important moments. Because trust is not something you gain all at once. It is something you build step by step. Now I want you to understand something deeper. You are not meant to second guess every decision. You are not meant to live in constant uncertainty. You are meant to move with clarity. Not perfect clarity, but enough clarity to take the next step. And that clarity comes from trusting yourself. Now think about this. There are moments now where you feel something strongly, where you know something immediately, where you don't need to analyze. And those moments, That is your true guidance, not the overthinking, not the doubt, but the first knowing. And now, you are learning to honor it. Now listen carefully. There will be moments ahead where you will be faced with decisions, some simple, some important. And in those moments, you must not look outside first. You must not seek immediate validation. Pause, feel, listen, because the answer is already within you. And when you trust that, your life becomes clearer, not easier, but more aligned. Now let me tell you something important. Trusting yourself does not mean you will never make mistakes. It means you will not fear them. Because even mistakes become part of your growth. They guide you, they teach you, they refine your understanding. And when you trust yourself, you understand that no step is wasted. Everything moves you forward. Now before we go further, take a moment. Feel this truth deeply. You already have what you need to move forward. You already have the awareness. You already have the understanding. You already have the inner guidance. You just need to trust it. So if you feel ready to trust yourself completely, if you feel ready to stop second-guessing your inner voice, if you are ready to move with clarity instead of doubt, then acknowledge it within yourself. Say it quietly, or feel it deeply. I trust myself fully. Let that become your foundation, because from this point forward, you will not look outside for answers first. You will look within. Stay with me. Don't leave now, because the next part will reveal something even more powerful. You will begin to understand how to step into your full strength, not just in moments, but in your daily life. And once you step into that strength, nothing will be able to shake your path again. Stay with me. You've come too far to lose this now, because what you are about to step into is your strength. Not the strength you show to the world, but the strength you carry within. For a long time, you thought strength meant holding everything together, not showing weakness, not feeling too much, not letting anything affect you. But that was never true strength. That was survival. And you have moved beyond survival now. Now, you are stepping into something deeper. Real strength. The kind that allows you to feel, but not lose yourself. The kind that allows you to face truth without running from it. The kind that allows you to walk away without needing to explain. That is strength. And you are learning it now. Now, listen carefully. Stepping into your strength does not mean becoming hard. It does not mean closing your heart. It does not mean shutting people out. It means becoming grounded, so that no matter what happens around you, you remain centered within yourself. Before, your emotions controlled your direction. If something felt good, you followed it. If something felt uncomfortable, you avoided it. But now, you are learning to observe your emotions, not be controlled by them. You feel, but you also understand. You experience, but you also remain aware. And that balance, that is your strength. Now understand this clearly. Strength is not about never falling. It is about how you rise every time you do. And you have risen more times than you give yourself credit for. You have faced situations that you thought would break you. You have gone through moments that felt unbearable. And yet, you are still here, still learning, still growing, still moving forward. That is strength. Not loud, not dramatic, but real. Now I want you to see something clearly. There were times when you doubted yourself, when you thought you were not strong enough, when you questioned your ability to handle things. But look at where you are now. You are not the same person. You think differently. You respond differently. You carry yourself differently. And that did not happen by chance. It happened because you kept going, even when it was hard, even when you didn't feel ready, even when you didn't have all the answers. You kept moving. And that is what built you. Now listen carefully. Stepping into your strength also means setting standards, not just for others, but for yourself. How you treat yourself, what you allow in your life, what you walk away from. Because strength is not just about enduring, it is about choosing. choosing what aligns, choosing what feels right, choosing what supports your growth, and letting go of what doesn't. Now understand this. You are no longer in a phase where you accept everything. You are in a phase where you choose intentionally, and that changes everything. Because when you choose intentionally, you stop settling. You stop tolerating what drains you. You stop compromising your peace, and that is where your power grows. Now let me tell you something important. There will be moments where your strength is tested, not to break you, but to show you how far you have come. Situations that once affected you deeply will appear again. Not exactly the same, but similar. And in those moments, you will notice something. You will respond differently. You will not react the same way. You will not feel the same way. And that will show you that you have grown. Now listen, do not underestimate small changes. The way you pause before reacting. The way you choose silence instead of argument. The way you walk away instead of staying. These are signs of strength, and they matter. Now I want you to understand something deeper. You do not need to prove your strength to anyone. You do not need to show it. It will be felt. In the way you carry yourself, in the way you handle situations, in the way you remain calm when others are not. And that presence, that quiet confidence, that is your power. Now take a moment. Feel everything you have become. Not who you were, but who you are now. You are stronger. You are more aware. You are more aligned. And this is just the beginning. So if you feel ready to fully step into your strength, if you are ready to stand firm in who you are becoming, if you are ready to choose yourself without hesitation, then acknowledge it within yourself. Say it quietly or feel it deeply. I stand in my strength. Let that become your identity. Because from this point forward, you will not shrink. You will not doubt your growth. You will move forward with strength. Stay with me. Don't leave now. Because the next part will take you even deeper. You will begin to understand how to receive what is coming into your life without fear, without resistance, and without self-doubt. And once you understand that, you will finally step into what has been waiting for you all along. Stay with me. Don't step away now. Because what you are about to understand is something many people struggle with, even after they grow. Receiving. You have learned how to let go. You have learned how to grow. You have learned how to stand in your strength. But now, you must learn how to receive what is meant for you. And this is where many people block their own blessings, not because they are not ready, but because they don't feel worthy. Yes, even after everything, even after all the growth, even after all the understanding, there is still a small part of you that questions whether you truly deserve what is coming. And that is what we must release now, because listen carefully. You do not earn what is meant for you by suffering. You do not prove your worth by struggling endlessly. You do not need to go through more pain to deserve something good. You are already worthy. Not because of what you have done, but because of who you are. And it is time you understand that. Now listen, there were times in your life when something good came toward you and you pulled back. Not consciously, but quietly. You doubted it. You questioned it. You looked for something wrong. Because part of you was not used to receiving something that felt right. You were used to earning everything through effort, through struggle, through proving yourself. But what is coming into your life now will not feel like that. It will feel natural. It will feel calm. It will feel aligned. And that may feel unfamiliar at first. Because you are used to intensity, you are used to things that require constant effort to maintain. But now, you are stepping into something different, something that does not drain you, but supports you. And you must allow yourself to receive it. Now understand this clearly. Receiving is not passive. It is active openness. It means you are willing to accept what comes, without pushing it away, without questioning your worth, without sabotaging it, and that requires trust. Trust that you deserve it. Trust that it is right for you. Trust that you do not need to struggle for everything. Now, listen carefully. There is something coming into your life that matches the level of growth you have reached, and when it arrives, you must not shrink. You must not question yourself. You must not step back into old patterns of doubt. You must stand in your worth, because what you accept reflects what you believe you deserve. If you believe you deserve less, you will accept less. If you believe you deserve confusion, you will accept confusion. But if you believe you deserve clarity, peace, alignment, then that is what you will allow into your life. And that is the shift happening now. Now I want you to understand something deeper. You are not the same person who once settled. You are not the same person who once accepted less than you deserved. You are not the same person who doubted your own worth. You have grown. You have seen things clearly. You have learned. So why would you go back? You won't. Because now you are ready to receive differently. Now listen. There will be moments ahead where something good enters your life. A new opportunity, a new connection, a new direction. And in that moment, you may feel a small hesitation, a voice that says, "Is this too good? Will this last? Am I ready for this?" And when that happens, you must remember this truth. You are not receiving something you are not ready for. You are receiving something you have grown into, and that changes everything. Now let me tell you something important. Receiving does not mean everything will be perfect. It means it will be aligned. It will still require your awareness. It will still require your presence, but it will not require you to lose yourself. And that is the difference. Now take a moment. Feel this shift within you. You are no longer preparing to chase. You are preparing to receive. And that is a powerful place to be. So if you feel ready to receive what is meant for you, if you feel ready to stop questioning your worth, if you are ready to accept clarity, peace, and alignment into your life, then acknowledge it within yourself. Say it quietly or feel it deeply. I am open to receive what is meant for me. Let that become your truth. Because from this point forward, you will not block what is coming. You will allow it. Stay with me till the end. Don't miss what is coming next, because the next part will reveal something even more powerful. You will begin to understand how everything will come together in your life, and how to recognize the moment when it finally does. And if these words are bringing you peace, clarity, or helping you in your life, take a moment to support this message. You can like, share, and subscribe so you continue receiving guidance like this. And if you feel happy and connected with these words, you can support this work through the link given below, only if it feels right to you. Now stay, because what comes next will bring everything into alignment. Stay with me. This is where everything begins to come together. You have walked through understanding, through growth, through letting go, trusting, strengthening, and opening yourself to receive. And now, you are stepping into alignment. Not something far away, not something you need to chase, but something that is already forming around you, piece by piece, moment by moment, quietly. You may not see the full picture yet, but you are starting to feel it. That sense that things are shifting, that sense that something is coming into place, that sense that your life is no longer scattered, but organizing itself. This is not your imagination. This is alignment. And alignment does not arrive all at once. It builds through your choices, through your awareness, through your willingness to grow. Everything you have been doing, every decision you made to choose peace, every moment you chose clarity over confusion, every time you walked away from what was not right, it has been creating this moment where things begin to connect. Now listen carefully. There will be a moment in your life very soon where something clicks, not loudly, not dramatically, but clearly. You will understand something without needing explanation. You will see something without needing proof. You will feel something without needing validation. And in that moment, you will realize, now I understand why everything happened the way it did. That is the moment of alignment, where your past, your present, and your direction forward all make sense. Now understand this clearly. That moment will not come through force. It will not come because you are searching for it. It will come because you are ready for it, because your awareness has reached a level where you can see clearly. Now I want you to understand something deeper. Alignment does not mean everything will suddenly become easy. It means everything will become clear. There is a difference. Easy comes and goes. Clarity stays. And when you have clarity, you can handle anything because you understand what you are doing, why you are doing it, and where it is leading you. That is power. Now think about your past again. There were times when you felt lost, not because nothing was happening, but because you did not understand what was happening. And that lack of understanding created confusion. But now you are not in that place anymore. Now you are stepping into understanding. Now you are seeing patterns. Now you are recognizing signs. And that changes everything. Now listen carefully. There is something else happening in this phase of your life. You are becoming more selective, not just with people, but with everything. Your time, your energy, your focus. You are no longer giving it freely to everything. You are choosing where it goes. And that is alignment in action. Because where your energy goes, your life follows. Now understand this. You are not meant to do everything. You are not meant to chase every opportunity. You are meant to choose what aligns and let everything else pass. And that is what you are learning now. Now let me tell you something important. As things begin to come together, there will be moments of quiet, moments where nothing seems to be happening. And in those moments, you must not assume that progress has stopped. Because often, the biggest shifts happen in silence. When things are being arranged, when paths are being cleared, when everything is coming into place. And your role in those moments is to remain steady, to trust, to stay aligned, because rushing will only create confusion, but patience will allow clarity to deepen. Now take a moment. Feel where you are right now. You are no longer searching. You are aligning. You are no longer chasing. You are allowing. You are no longer confused. You are understanding. And that is your transformation. Now before we go further, I want you to anchor yourself in this moment. Feel the shift within you. Recognize how far you have come. And if you feel that things in your life are beginning to align, if you feel that clarity is replacing confusion, if you feel that you are ready to step into what is coming next, then acknowledge it within yourself. Say it quietly or feel it deeply. Everything is coming together for me. Let that settle in your mind, because from this point forward, you will no longer question the process. You will trust it. Stay with me. Don't leave now, because the next part will reveal something even more powerful. You will begin to understand how to step fully into your next chapter, without fear, without hesitation, and without looking back. And once you understand that, you will finally move into the life that has been waiting for you. Stay with me. This is the moment where everything shifts. You are no longer preparing. You are no longer waiting. You are stepping into your next chapter. And this is where many people hesitate. Not because they are not ready, but because stepping into something new requires leaving something behind completely. Not partially, not temporarily, completely. And that is where fear can try to return. A quiet voice that asks, "Are you sure? What if this doesn't work? What if you should wait a little longer?" But listen carefully. You have already waited. You have already learned. You have already grown. This is not the moment to go back. This is the moment to move forward, fully. Now understand this clearly. Your next chapter will not begin when everything feels perfect. It begins when you decide to step into it. Because perfection is not required. Alignment is. And you are aligned. You have done the inner work. You have gained awareness. You have learned to trust yourself. Now, you must act from that place. Now listen, stepping into your next chapter does not mean everything changes overnight. It means your direction changes. It means your mindset shifts. It means your decisions reflect who you are now, not who you used to be. And that is powerful. Because once your direction changes, everything else begins to follow. Now I want you to understand something deeper. There will be moments in this transition where you feel the pull of the past. Not because you want to go back, but because it is familiar. Old habits, old thoughts, old ways of responding. They may try to return, and in those moments, you must remain aware, not to fight them, but to recognize them. Because once you recognize them, you can choose differently. And that choice is what keeps you moving forward. Now listen carefully. Your next chapter will require a new level of commitment, not to others, but to yourself. A commitment to your growth, a commitment to your peace, a commitment to your truth. And that commitment must be consistent, not only when things feel easy, but especially when they feel uncertain. Because this is where your transformation becomes real. Now understand this. You are not stepping into something unknown without preparation. You are stepping into something you have been preparing for all along. Every experience, every lesson, every moment of growth, it has been leading you here. So why doubt it now? You have already proven to yourself that you can handle change. You have already shown yourself that you can grow. You have already become someone stronger, more aware, more aligned. So trust that. Now let me tell you something important. Your next chapter will not look exactly how you imagined. And that is a good thing, because what you imagined was based on who you were before. But what is coming is based on who you are now. And that difference will make everything feel more aligned, more real, more peaceful. Now listen, there is no need to rush into everything at once. You are not required to have everything figured out immediately. You just need to take the next step, and then the next, and then the next, because progress is not one big leap. It is a series of aligned steps, and you are ready for that. Now I want you to see something clearly. You are no longer the person who hesitates endlessly. You are no longer the person who waits for perfect timing. You are the person who moves with awareness, who chooses with clarity, who trusts their direction, and that identity, that is your power. Now take a moment. Feel this transition. You are leaving behind who you used to be, not with regret, but with understanding. Because that version of you was necessary. It brought you here, but it is no longer who you are. And now you are stepping forward. Now before we go deeper, I want you to anchor this moment. Feel it fully. Recognize what is happening within you. And if you feel ready to step into your next chapter, if you feel ready to leave the past behind without looking back, if you are ready to move forward with clarity and strength, then acknowledge it within yourself. Say it quietly or feel it deeply. I step into my next chapter with confidence. Let that become your decision. Because from this point forward, you will not hesitate. You will move forward fully. Stay with me. Don't leave now, because the next part will reveal something even more powerful. You will begin to understand how your life will transform as you fully step into this new phase, and how everything you once thought was missing will begin to appear naturally and at the right time. Stay with me. This is where you begin to witness the change. Not just feel it, not just understand it, but see it. Because now that you have stepped into your next chapter, life will begin to respond. Quietly at first, subtly, in ways you might almost overlook if you are not paying attention. But it will respond. Now listen carefully. Transformation does not always arrive like a sudden explosion. It unfolds, like a door opening slowly, like light entering a room gradually, like something aligning piece by piece until you suddenly realize everything is different. And that is what is beginning now. You may notice small shifts first, the way you think, the way you react, the way you feel in situations that once affected you deeply. You will pause more. You will observe more. You will respond with clarity instead of emotion. And that alone is transformation. Now understand this clearly. Your outer world changes after your inner world shifts, not before. So do not rush to see everything externally immediately. Trust what is happening within you, because that is what is creating everything around you. Now listen, there will be moments where you suddenly realize this situation no longer affects me the same way. This person no longer has the same influence over me. This environment no longer feels right for me. And in those moments, you are not losing something. You are outgrowing it, and that is a sign that your life is changing. Now I want you to understand something deeper. As you continue in this new phase, you will begin to attract differently. Not because you are trying, but because you have changed. You will attract people who match your energy. You will attract situations that reflect your clarity. You will attract opportunities that align with your growth. And the most important part, you will recognize them. Because before, even if these things came into your life, you might not have seen them clearly. You might have doubted them. You might have overlooked them. But now, you will see. Now listen carefully. There will also be moments of contrast. Moments where you see clearly what does not align. Situations that feel off immediately. People whose energy does not match yours. Opportunities that do not feel right. And this is important because contrast sharpens your clarity. It shows you the difference between what is aligned and what is not. And now you are able to see that difference clearly. Now understand this. You do not need to engage with everything you recognize. Just because you see something does not mean you need to respond to it. Sometimes the most powerful action is non-action. Walking away. Not reacting, not investing your energy. And that is growth. Now listen, as your life begins to shift, you may also notice something else, a sense of peace. Not constant excitement, not overwhelming emotion, but calm, steady, present. And this peace is one of the strongest signs of alignment. Because when you are aligned, you are not chasing, you are not forcing. You are not trying to control everything. You are allowing, and that changes how you experience life. Now I want you to see something clearly. You are no longer living from survival. You are living from awareness. And that shift changes everything. Because survival reacts. Awareness chooses. Survival holds on. Awareness lets go. Survival fears change. Awareness flows with it. And now, you are living from awareness. Now let me tell you something important. There will be moments ahead where everything feels still, where nothing dramatic is happening. And in those moments, you must not think that progress has stopped. Because often, the most important changes are the quiet ones. The internal shifts, the subtle alignments, the invisible preparations. And those moments, they matter. So stay present, stay aware, stay grounded. Now take a moment. Feel what is happening in your life right now. Not what you expect, but what you feel. You are changing. You are evolving. You are stepping into something new. And this is only the beginning. So if you feel that transformation is happening within you, if you feel that your life is beginning to shift, if you are ready to embrace this new phase fully, then acknowledge it within yourself. Say it quietly or feel it deeply. I embrace the transformation in my life. Let that settle within you, because from this point forward, you will not resist change. You will welcome it. Stay with me. Don't leave now. Because the next part will reveal something even more powerful. You will begin to understand how everything you have been waiting for will begin to manifest in your life. and how to recognize it when it finally arrives. And once you understand that, you will realize nothing was ever missing. Everything was just waiting for you to become ready. Stay. This is one of the most important moments of your journey, because what you are about to understand now is how everything you have been waiting for begins to appear in your life. Not suddenly, not magically in one instant, but clearly, in a way that you cannot deny, in a way that you cannot confuse, in a way that you will recognize immediately. You have spent so much time waiting for clarity, waiting for answers, waiting for something to finally make sense. And now, you are stepping into the phase where things begin to reveal themselves, not because time has passed, but because you are ready. Now listen carefully. Manifestation is not just about things appearing in your life. It is about recognition, because many times in your past, things came into your life, but you did not see them for what they truly were. You overlooked them. You doubted them. You questioned them, not because they were not right, but because you were not ready to receive them. But now you are different. Now you see clearly. Now you understand. Now you trust. And that changes everything. Now listen, what is meant for you will begin to show up in ways that feel natural, not forced, not confusing, not overwhelming. It will fit. It will align. It will feel like something you don't have to struggle to understand. And that is how you will know. Now understand this clearly. You are not attracting what you want. You are attracting what you are aligned with. And now you are aligned with clarity, with awareness, with truth. So what comes into your life now will reflect that. Now I want you to understand something deeper. Manifestation does not always look like what you imagined. Sometimes it looks different, better, but different. Because what you imagined before came from who you were. But what is coming now matches who you are now. And that difference will bring peace. Now listen carefully. There will be a moment where something enters your life and you will feel it instantly. A sense of calm, a sense of recognition, a sense of this is right. Not excitement that fades, not intensity that overwhelms, but clarity. And in that moment, you must not doubt it. You must not question it unnecessarily. You must allow it, because this is what you have been preparing for. Now understand this. What is meant for you will not require you to abandon yourself. It will not require you to ignore your intuition. It will not require you to compromise your peace. It will meet you where you are aligned, and that is how you will recognize it. Now listen, there is also something important you must remember. Not everything that appears is meant to stay. Even in this phase, there will still be tests. Situations that look appealing, but do not feel right. Opportunities that seem good, but do not align. And this is where your awareness matters. Because now you have the ability to choose, not based on appearance, but based on alignment. And that is what protects you. Now I want you to see something clearly. You are no longer chasing something outside of you. You are allowing what is aligned to come to you. And that shift changes everything. Because when you chase, you operate from lack. But when you allow, you operate from trust. And now you are learning to trust. Now let me tell you something important. There will be moments ahead where you will look at your life and realize everything has changed. Not all at once, but completely. The way you think, the way you feel, the way you live. And in that moment, you will understand something deeply. Nothing was ever delayed. Nothing was ever missing. Everything was unfolding at the right time. Now take a moment. Feel this truth within you. You are not waiting anymore. You are receiving. You are not searching anymore. You are recognizing. You are not lost anymore. You are aligned. And that is your transformation. So if you feel ready to recognize and receive what is meant for you, if you feel that your life is beginning to align in ways you can feel deeply, if you are ready to trust what is appearing in your life, then acknowledge it within yourself. Say it quietly or feel it deeply. I recognize and receive what is meant for me. Let that guide you, because from this point forward, you will not miss what is yours. Stay with me. Don't leave now, because the final part will bring everything together. You will understand the full meaning of your journey and how to live in this new reality with clarity, peace, and purpose. And when you reach that understanding, you will never question your path again. Stay with me. This is the final moment where everything becomes clear. You have walked through every stage of this journey, from confusion to awareness, from letting go to trusting, from growing to becoming. And now you are no longer searching for meaning. You are living it. This is where everything comes together, not as separate lessons, but as one understanding. Your life was never random, not the pain, not the delays, not the moments you felt lost. Everything had a place, everything had a purpose. And now, you can see it. Not perfectly, but clearly enough. You understand why certain things had to end. You understand why certain paths did not work out. You understand why you had to go through what you did. Because it shaped you. It prepared you. It brought you here. And now, you are not the same person. You are more aware, more grounded, more aligned. And this is your new reality. Now, listen carefully. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a new way of living. A way where you no longer doubt yourself constantly. A way where you no longer chase what is not right for you. A way where you no longer settle for confusion over clarity. You have crossed into a new level of understanding. And from this point forward, you will live differently. Not because you are forcing change, but because you have changed. Now understand this clearly. There will still be challenges, but they will not break you. Because now you know how to respond. You know how to stay grounded. You know how to trust yourself. You know how to choose what aligns. And that knowledge, that awareness, is your strength. Now I want you to understand something deeper. Peace is not something you find once and keep forever. It is something you choose again and again in your thoughts, in your decisions, in your actions. And now, you know how to choose it. Now listen, there will be moments ahead where life feels quiet, where nothing dramatic is happening. And in those moments, you must not think something is missing, because nothing is missing. You are simply living in alignment. And alignment feels calm, steady, present, not chaotic, not overwhelming, just right. And that is what you have been moving toward all along. Now understand this. You do not need to go back to who you were. You do not need to repeat old patterns. You do not need to doubt your growth, because you have already changed. And that change cannot be undone. Now I want you to see something clearly. Your life from this point forward will reflect who you are now. The choices you make, the people you allow, the paths you take, all of it will come from awareness. And that is what creates a meaningful life. Now take a moment. Look at yourself honestly, not with judgment, but with recognition. You made it here, through everything, through doubt, through confusion, through growth. And now, you are here, clearer, stronger, more aligned, and that matters. Now, listen carefully. This is your responsibility moving forward, to stay aware, to stay aligned, to stay true to yourself, not perfectly, but consistently, because this is how you maintain what you have built. Now let me tell you something important. You will not always feel motivated. You will not always feel certain. But you will always have awareness. And that is enough, because awareness will guide you back every time. Now before we close this journey, take a deep breath. Feel everything you have understood. Feel everything you have become. And if you feel that your life has changed through this understanding, if you feel that you are no longer the same person who started this journey, if you are ready to live your life with clarity, peace, and purpose, then acknowledge it within yourself. Say it quietly, or feel it deeply. I live in alignment with my true self. Let that become your truth, because from this point forward, you will not search for your path. You will walk it. And now, you are ready. This is not goodbye. This is your beginning.